Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. Now we're going to talk about, since we're going towards the end of the year, we're going to talk about what are the top 10 cryptocurrencies, top 11, because I'm going to include Tether, cryptocurrencies. What do I expect from them next year? So let's start with number one. Number one is Bitcoin. I expect Bitcoin to keep kicking ass next year because all the major funds are investing in Bitcoin. There's new funds every single day announcing that they're going to invest in Bitcoin. So I expect the hype for BTC to keep going, and I expect BTC to rise above 40,000 by the end of next year. So Bitcoin is going to do just fine, and it's, I think, the safest investment that you can actually have in crypto. And you can probably get close to 100% gains next year in Bitcoin when it's all said and done. What do I think about Ethereum? Ethereum is one of the other coins that has kind of like the waiver from the SEC. That does not mean that ERC20 tokens have a waiver from the SEC, but Ethereum itself is actually excused from SEC action. So I do believe Ethereum will do okay as well, and very well. DeFi is still mostly on Ethereum. It will have some threat from the other main nets that are actually arising, but I think overall Ethereum is going to do fairly well next year as well. So Ethereum still a plus. USDT, obviously you don't make much money off of Tether, and because of the stablecoin regulations they are actually talking about, I would actually try to put my money in somewhere like USDC instead, that has actually Circle and maybe Goldman Sachs backing it. The actual FinCEN rule actually says like no one can issue stablecoins besides in the United States besides US regulated banking institutions. And Bitfinex is not a US regulated banking institution, obviously. So that is USDT. I'm not bullish on USDT. I'm not too worried about USDT, but I'm not bullish on USDT, and I would find another stablecoin like USDC that actually has a company backing it if possible. XRP, I am not bullish on at all. There is the SEC lawsuit. I'm not saying it's like over or anything, but there is the SEC lawsuit, and there are plenty of good projects that don't have SEC lawsuits against them. I do believe a lot of XRP value will bleed back into ETH and BTC. So definitely not a buy for me next year, at least until the lawsuit is resolved in a positive way for XRP. If it's resolved in a negative way, then it's like game over. But I wouldn't really, I really wouldn't buy it until I hear more positive news. I don't think banks are going to touch it with a 10-foot pole now, since there is this lawsuit that's been filed, and it might not go anywhere for a long time. So definitely not really a buy. I don't know if I would sell all of it if I held it, but I definitely wouldn't buy any more of it. LTC. Surprisingly, I've never been positive on LTC that much, but I actually think it's an okay coin now, a pretty good coin now. Bitcoin forks, because of their proof of work, they're kind of shielded from the SEC action because, unlike a lot of other coins, they didn't mint all of them at once and give them to the founders of the coin. Plus, the Litecoin Foundation is like a nonprofit organization. So there's not quite that distribution problem that like something like XRP or VET might actually have should the SEC come after them. So Litecoin, I've never been bullish on it, but it's actually not a bad investment now in light of these legal lawsuits. BCH falls under kind of like the same cap as LTC. I actually don't like BCH at all. But like Roger Ver actually did reply to one of my tweets, said like something about what BCH can be used for. I kind of see it as like a middle child. Like there's no point in BCH or BSV or any of those coins for me, because yes, it's more efficient than BTC, but every other coin out there is more efficient than BCH at like transferring money. Like all the Gen 3 coins, it does have liquidity. And the same thing as Litecoin, because it's a Bitcoin fork, I don't think the SEC is really going to come after it because the distribution is the same thing as Bitcoin and Litecoin. They didn't mint all of them at once, and they didn't give all the mint to themselves. So BCH, not too bad. I mean, it follows Bitcoin up and down pretty close. I would put it a tier under Litecoin right now, but it's honestly not too bad. BNB just confuses the hell out of me, honestly. Like And the reason it does is like if you were the SEC and you wanted to go after like an open and shut case with a big coin, why wouldn't you go after BNB? Because I think that's the easiest one to prove that's it's a security. I mean, I generally like Binance. I really do because I think their business model is great and I think they're going to make a lot of money. But here's the thing. This coin in the US, I don't see how it's not a security if the SEC actually comes after it. I mean, they literally use their profits to buy BNB back, to burn them, to reward investors. That's almost the exact same as a stock buyback. And that kind of defines it as security. Plus, if you hold BNB, you have the inside track into some of these ICOs. So I really don't know how you argue it's really not a security. I'm a little bit afraid of that. I don't know if Binance has some like nudge, nudge, wink, wink things with the SEC or not. But I don't know. If the SEC comes after BNB in the United States, I don't think BNB can win. So I'm still somewhat bullish on BNB, but I would really, really be kind of afraid to buy a lot of it right now because of that. ADA, I think Cardano will do well. I think like early next year in Q1 going into Q2, I think Cardano will do extremely well. They're going to release Gogan. Charles has obviously said that it can't be declared a security, but you know, these founders, they're always going to be very biased towards their coin. So I would definitely take that with a grain of salt. I don't know how much ADA he actually holds. I think ADA's ICO was actually in Japan and not to US investors. So they actually might be safe. I think ADA is technologically superior to ETH, but they need to actually build up the liquidity. So I'm still overall bullish on ADA. Polkadot, they just need more development. I don't really know how the DOT ICO went. DOT actually didn't start this year. It was several years ago. I think a lot of these are riding on the XRP case, but realistically, like they're not hit as bad as XRP, and I don't think the government regulators will actually go after them before the XRP case is actually resolved. And it'll really depend on which way that's actually resolved. So still pretty bullish on DOT. I'm more bullish on ADA, but I'm still fairly bullish on DOT. Link, I'm still fairly bullish on. I think a lot of projects next year will actually need to use oracles. So I'm actually pretty bullish on Link. And I don't really think like they're on like the SEC hit list or anything like that. Yeah, so Link, I'm still fairly bullish on. And the last one would, well, USDC, I'm very bullish on because it's, you know, I think it's actually approved. XLM is the last one I'm going to talk about. And, you know, XLM logically should be like the next one on the hit list if XRP loses. But XLM does have a caveat, and it's not JED because JED is no good. But XLM has a caveat is that it's actually run by a nonprofit organization. So kind of hard to talk about shares in a nonprofit organization. I'm not sure if that'll be enough to protect it. I personally probably wouldn't buy XLM, but you know, it might actually be slightly better than XRP at this point because of the lawsuit against XRP. So that's what I think about the top 10 coins. Let me know what you think, like and subscribe, and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.